Hello, hello, Taurus. Welcome to your November 2018 overview reading. This is going to be good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Taurus. And while I'm pulling these oracle cards for you, go ahead and tune in if there's a specific message that you're looking for this month or today, just during this reading. Set your intention at that. Ask for the right information to present itself to you. And I trust that the answers will come. Okay, so feel into your body. Notice anything that's coming up. Deep breath into the diaphragm. All right. First thing coming up for Taurus is, what do you hope is true? So just ask yourself this question, because remember that just because you think something doesn't mean you have to believe it. It also doesn't mean that it's true or that it's going to happen. Sometimes thoughts are just thoughts, and other times we can use them to manifest. So it just depends which way you're leaning. But remember, it's okay to train yourself to focus on leading with the thoughts that are really empowering, that are helpful. Not easy every day, but it's about practice. Okay, so focus on what you're hoping is true. And it really, if you have the hope for that, that's one of the best tools that you can use for yourself. Next thing coming up for Taurus is depth. Look underneath what's actually happening for you. So I understand that, you know, there really are a lot of, there's like the surface layer of information, right? Like what's going on circumstantially or superficially. But this is asking you to check underneath, like go underneath even the desire and see what's there. Is it an underlying need that isn't being met? Is there something else going on? Just check yourself. Are you looking, for superficial answers to a deep-seated problem? Okay, and that's something where a lot of people can get stuck. They're looking to the external to solve an internal problem, and so you just want to check yourself with that. And then we also have death of the deceitful. I can't remember if this came up for you in the October reading, but this is the old way of thinking, processing, being. The old way of operating is actually shifting out for you. That is breaking down, and it's a longer process than just a few weeks. Like, it's not always rapid growth. Sometimes it takes a little time for things to really unfold. So one of the biggest things that I want to remind you all that's already coming up is you have time. You have time. You can continue to work on yourself, on the old things that you want to get rid of. And that is going to give birth to the new version of yourself. But the thing is, you want to give yourself time. Like, give yourself some time and space to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. Don't worry so much about expedience. Just focus on the end result. And the word of the month is birth. Find your sacred creative womb space, whether it's time, tools, or literal space. Seek the appropriate midwife. Trust the process. All will be revealed in due time. Give yourself time. Like, it's when you're trying something new or doing something differently, you have to give yourself a little bit of time and space to settle into that new way of being and see how it resonates. Okay? So the central energy for Taurus in November is the Knight of Swords. This is your big ideas, your big vision, your primary focus. Okay, so that's really what's shining through here with this Knight of Swords card. It's like, what do you want to bring into reality? What do you want to birth into this new paradigm? Okay, so it's like big vision, charging ahead, looking at what's coming next, and it just seems like your tunnel vision on what you're building, okay? But it starts with the idea, it starts with the cognitive processes. So that's what you have coming up, and let's see what else is showing up here. So what's in your highest good to manifest? We have the Mother of Wands. It looks like energy, but I'm going to clarify this one for you. Because there's two things coming up. There's the energetic piece, like cultivating energy, building energy, finding ways to create that, as well as boundaries, because you can see she's guarding the eggs. Okay, and we have Seven of Wands. So, yeah, energy is it. I take that back about what I said about boundaries. That just confirmed it. It has more to do with the energy that you're giving to things. And one of the things that I would recommend that you do is not just focus on, like, well, I need to do all these superficial things. Like I said, you can actually ask for answers here. Like ask your body, check in with what's going on, check in with divine source, God, whatever you like to work with. Just ask the question, what will support my energy levels, and see what answers come up. You might be surprised. Advice for your energetic health, Justice. Step away from binary thinking, step away from this or that, either or. Let yourself hold multiple perspectives. I would also recommend hanging out with mutable friends. So Pisces, Virgos, Sagittarius, and Geminis. Hang out, if you have a lot of those friends. They're very, very flexible in the way that they think and their perspectives and their adaptability. And because you guys are fixed, Taurus has a lot of fixed energy and it's a fixed sign. So, you know, it's kind of helpful to be around people who think differently than you do and who can hold on to a bunch of different perspectives all at the same time. So that's what's going to help your energetic health. You're not going to burn out. You're not going to mentally burn out if you're kind of able to look in the gray areas. Advice for your physical health. So for your body, Two of Swords. I'm going to clarify this one as well. Knight of Wands. So the word momentum is coming up. Now, you may not see. So the Two of Swords is about not being able to see what's coming up or not being able to see what's coming next, or what the outcome is going to be. You have to trust what you're doing will pay off. So if you have a health project going on right now, or if that's something you're taking on in 2019, remember that your physical health is kind of about momentum, like over time, building. That is what's happening for you. So it's okay to not see the other side quite yet. You just want to create space where you can open yourself up to the possibility of things getting better over time. It's not an overnight fix. This is about consistency and sticking with it. So if you're working on something, just keep plugging away at it. Okay, now what you have shifting out, Ace of Wands. So I think there was like that hit of inspiration, that aha, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna get started on this. And that's like the hardest part, is just starting. So now you're actually moving into a different phase of this process, where instead of like the aha, I'm getting started on this, you're moving into, how can I sustainably keep things going? How can I continue? How can I persist? And that is what's helping you with your big vision. That's why you have the Knight of Swords sitting in the center, because this is inviting you to keep your eye on thinking ahead. What do you hope is true? Looking forward in terms of what you want for yourself. And that is really what's giving you the motivation to be consistent with the things that you're working on and what you're looking to heal, what you're looking to manifest, what you're looking to cultivate. It's all about keeping your eye on the big vision and not giving up, and making sure that your day-to-day choices are in alignment with this vision. The oncoming energy is the Eight of Cups. Remember that whatever you're building, whatever you're constructing, is not just a linear upward movement. It's actually something that is, you know, it has peaks and valleys, it has ebbs and flows, ups and downs. And while you're working on something, you want to get the feedback of what's not working, because it's going to help shift your perspective, and you can make a tweak before you get really, really deep into it. So negative feedback, or how do I put this? Like having a change in perspective is what's going to support you in the long term. So this is just showing that you have, like, even if it's something that isn't ideal or you don't want to hear, make sure you show appreciation for the feedback, for the insight, because this is going to be really helpful and it's going to be a game changer for you long term. The Eight of Cups is just about a change in perspective. I don't look at it like this imagery is kind of extreme for this card, in my opinion. I actually think this is more to do with your perspective, or maybe you have a lot of ego running in a certain capacity where you might be a little bit more sensitive to it. But remember the value in it. That's kind of how you can keep yourself grounded, keep your eye on the prize. And this experience of getting challenged is what's going to help you in the long term with your big vision. Okay. Now, if you are new to my channel, hello. And we're going to move into the timeline portion. So I go first quarter, second, third, and fourth quarter. Okay. So this is where you're going to end up at the end of November. At the beginning of November, we have the Four of Wands. This actually looks like you're focusing more on domestic stuff, like getting cozy, redecorating your home, creating a nice space for yourself. It just looks like things are really starting to come together domestically. Okay, so this has a lot to do with your physical living space, your home, what you're building, whatever space you're occupying, defining as your home. This is, you know, highlighting a lot of stuff around living situations and things like that. So you're just kind of getting into the groove of, just domestic life, or like your nest, so to speak, is really important at the beginning of the month. Second quarter, or second week-ish, we have Four of Swords. So make sure you're resting. Make sure you're taking time for yourself. That's something that's, just knocked the table. That's something that's always of value. So don't underestimate the power of like taking a break, taking some time to yourself. It's 100% a part of just the process of, getting more things done, increasing your energy, increasing your productivity, and that might actually be the answer to increasing energy, is resting. So it seems counterintuitive, like, oh, I'm afraid if I sit down, I'm never going to get up again. That's not, I mean, that's not actually true. It just may be that you're tired and need rest more than ever, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and, you know, the winter months are approaching. It really calms down your energy, and so it's okay to rest. Same thing, Southern Hemisphere, it's more about like the the increase of springtime energy is something where sometimes it's good to pace yourself as well. Okay, now quarter 3, we have the 7 of Swords. So pay close attention to what you're moving away from and why. Make sure you're checking in with yourself and seeing, is this a good situation? Is this a bad situation for you? Just feel into what's working and what's not. Take inventory of those things and then move away from what you've outgrown. Okay, and quarter 4, Strength. So it's like you get your power back. I think that November is just going to be one of those months where it's like you're recalibrating for the long term. What I mean by that is it's like you want to reevaluate as you go. When you're setting off to do a project or get something done, it's not just set it and forget it. It's about fine-tuning, reworking, checking yourself as you go, making sure you're still in alignment with the things you've set out to accomplish and set out to do and make happen. And so that's what November is really providing for you, is just check in with your big vision, with yourself, and if they're growing together. And then by the end of November, it's kind of like, yep, I fully have my power back. I'm clear and aligned with what I'm doing and making happen. Okay, now we're going to do a 3-card pick. I want you to know that these are love and relationship cards, but the advice I find is good for everybody. So this can be specific to a love relationship if you'd like it to be, but I also think that there's a lot of great insight that comes from these as well, even if you're not looking for relationships. Okay, pick a card, any card. Feel out what's right for you. Card number 1, wait and see. Thoughts love to wander into assumptions and race ahead into the future. But what if you told them to cool their jets and chill a sec? Today, you get to put your mental chatter on pause to take a breath and simply wait and see how things play out before you let your mind run a marathon of imagined scenarios. Wait, and you'll see that waiting and seeing is a lot more productive than wondering and worrying. Insert audible sigh of relief here. Okay, so give the situation, whatever it is, the benefit of the doubt. Okay, just wait and see how everything plays out before you start going into overdrive with assumptions. Card number 2, celebration. When I come across people in happy, healthy relationships, I give jealousy the finger and celebrate their joy. When I do so, I'm rooting for the good guys, which means that I'm a good guy. And that means all of us win. Who wants to celebrate? So this is about taking time to both celebrate the small wins with yourself as well as wanting the best for other people. That's also something that has a lot of value because it energetically is a magnet for more good things. Okay, and then card number 3, we have support. I look at the vast network of support in my life and I'm reminded of what a superpower it gives me. At any moment, I can call on an army of top-notch people who want the best for me, which means I'm basically invincible. Take that, loneliness. Run for the hills, boredom. I'm sorry, what did you say to me, pervasive all-consuming anxiety? Damn right you didn't. Okay, so you're well supported. There is so much more support than what you can see on the surface. So please remember that. There is always someone willing to help. There is always a resource, even if you feel like you can barely move or barely get yourself there. So don't forget. I just like to remind people of that. You're not alone. You are supported even when you can't see it, and there's always someone out there who is willing to help you, even if you have resistance to that. Okay, so that is all that I have for you today, Taurus, in terms of the reading. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining and subscribing. Thank you for liking and sharing this video with your Taurus friends, and for following me on Facebook and Instagram, because that's always a good time on there too. So if you're wanting to work with me, all the links are in the description box for if you want to get a tarot spread or a one-on-one session, whatever it is that you need. All of the decks that I've used today are listed in the description box as well, down at the very bottom. And until next time, I wish you nothing but the best, Taurus, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.